taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of Joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel Vigil.
I'm starting to get some serious FOMO from everybody that is down there at the Super Bowl. Andrew Mason has given me FOMO. Everybody I'm watching on social media, I'm like, man, I wish I was in Las Vegas, but also I know everybody down there is getting absolutely no sleep at all, so I'm not jealous of that. However, I am excited because Matt Hamilton from Fanduel is here to hang out with us for just a little bit and give us all of like the big talk that's happening down there. We're going outside of just the Broncos, although I do want to dive into a little bit of that kind of stuff of what you've heard, Matt. But first of all, hello, good morning, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's been an incredible atmosphere here all week. Shows have been so much fun. There's just such an energy here, and it's always big Super Bowl week, but having it in Vegas, it's been ratcheted up a notch for sure.
Has it been crazy? Like, do you feel like you're in Sin City?
Oh yeah, it's. Okay. I feel like this was made to host the Super Bowl, though. Like the way everything's laid out, the energy of it, and just the way everything's organized. It's been one of the most enjoyable Super Bowl weeks so far.
All right, so Matt is obviously one of the producers for Up and Adams with Kay Adams. You have had some of the craziest star-studded shows that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, so many different players. Who's been the coolest one you've been able to talk to?
Oh man, it's tough to choose. I think the coolest moment was having Deshaun Jackson and T.O. on set together just a few minutes ago here, and just seeing them just kind of let it rip and dig into stuff. And Deshaun was airing out stuff about Lamar Jackson and the way their control the Ravens give him in the offense, or the lack thereof, I should say. But just seeing those two, kind of light it up on stage with a couple drinks, that was pretty special to get to see. And by the way, we are having Sean Payton on the show tomorrow.
I literally was just about to ask you this. I was like, have we had a Sean Payton appearance yet?
Oh, he's coming. If there's anything you want me to ask him, let me know, because I'll be putting that together shortly. But yeah, we're really excited to get him on set and kind of figure out a little bit more about what's going on there, what happened with Russell, and what's gonna happen moving forward.
I was going to say, I have 1,000 questions that I could give you about what's going on. If he would answer them, maybe, probably not. But yeah, of course, always, what the heck is going on with Russ? Is there any chance he could return at all, or is that ending in a divorce, right? Maybe phrase it a little bit differently than what I just did. And what they're really looking for in their next quarterback. I think that's kind of the big question that Broncos country wants to know.
Yeah, for sure. And it really does. It seems like at this point, like there's not much of a chance he's coming back. Right. So we're going to see. We're going to see if they turn to the draft, if they try to make some moves in the draft to move up a little bit, or if Jared, I know Broncos fans probably don't want to hear this, but if Jarrett Stidham gets a chance to show what he could do too, who knows at this point? A lot of questions there. So really excited to get the chance to talk to him and hopefully we can get some of those answers for you guys.
Well, and it's so funny because Sean Payton, I feel like for a lot of us media members, he's very like straight faced. He'll crack like a few jokes here, but it feels like when he goes to these big like national events or something like the Super Bowl, he lets loose a little bit more. So I'm going to be interested to see kind of what comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like always when he sits down with Kay too, like it's always such a good chemistry between the two of them. And he opens up a little bit too. So always good to have that advantage, because she does such a phenomenal job with all these guys.
I'm very jealous right there. I will definitely be tuning in tomorrow. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Sean Payton, obviously, I'm happy. That was literally one of my top questions. I was like, when is he getting on stage out there? I also saw, now I don't know how much you guys pay attention to college football, but he's one of the biggest names ever, it feels like right now. Deion Sanders is also out there. I just saw that he was walking into Radio Row not too long ago. Is there any chance that Deion Sanders could possibly pop on for you guys?
There's definitely a chance. We've always we've had some guests kind of by the set that we've been able to wrangle. Ted Karras from the Bengals today, we were able to get him on surprisingly. But yeah, we may. I'm looking out to see if I see Deion right now. There may be a chance. I'll let you know if we get any sightings as we go here.
Perfect. Okay, so walk me through the wrangling. Who goes out there to try and get players or whoever you're trying to get, and how does it go? Is it just like, hey, you want to pop on for a quick second? Like, we'll offer you some liquid if you come on. How does that typically work?
I mean, we have a phenomenal booking team here on Up and Adams, which is really, set us up for success and is the reason you see those guest lineups being what they are. We have had some of those moments where it's like, hey, some of it's just, we got the bar up there. Hey, you want a drink? Like, come stop by. Also, just sometimes some of the players, all these guys know Kay and they want to come up and say hi. So, we've had a few pop-ins like that. But yeah, a lot of it is it's been months of work leading up to this point for sure.
Okay, well, I definitely need you to try your hardest to get Deion Sanders on because he's always a great interview. I would love to hear what he had to say. But I do want to ask you, what's been the
Mhm.
biggest rumbling, the biggest storyline that you've heard out there in Vegas? It can be from any team, anything in the NFL. What's been the biggest one?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think the free agency stuff. We had Baker Mayfield on yesterday. The
Mhm.
free agency stuff with him. Is Tampa going to bring him back? Are they going to bring Mike Evans back? All of that. It sounds like, from what he told us yesterday, it sounds like there's a really good chance he is going to run it back in Tampa. And he's really pushing hard for Mike Evans to be back there with him too. So that's big. We're going to see how that plays out. Saquon Barkley's free agency coming up. We got to talk to him about that. He sounds at peace with whatever happens. Whereas, last year it seemed like he was a little salty about the franchise tag. This year he's more kind of just open and, going to let the chips fall where they do. And as I said, there's still that lingering stuff with Lamar and what happened to end this Ravens season, and
Mhm.
how they adjust things offensively going forward. And talking to someone like Deshaun Jackson, who was in that Ravens offense a year ago, and getting his perspective on it was really interesting. That
What was the most
they don't
interesting
really
thing he
give
said?
him the control of the offense that they should, and that he doesn't know that that's going to change under John Harbaugh, which was a little bit of an indictment there on the Ravens coaching staff. But we'll see this offseason if they do start to make some of those changes and give him a little bit more control.
I was gonna say, I feel like he's been so productive this season. This was, I feel like, the most complete season we've seen out of Lamar. So to hear that,
Yeah.
it kind of is a little crazy. But at the exact same time, all I can go back to is, I don't know if you had heard this, but Tony Romo had essentially said that Sean Payton will adjust the offense to whatever it is for whatever quarterback he has. So I go back and I'm like, okay, well, is John Harbaugh doing that for Lamar Jackson? And you just see those similarities again and again. That's fascinating to me, though, that he doesn't have, that much say.
Yeah, and that's big because you look at all the quarterbacks, and again, Lamar had a phenomenal year. Todd Monken did a phenomenal job with the offense all
Yeah.
year. We saw the elevation of it this season, but when you look at that playoff game and what was happening, you really wonder how much of a factor that was. If he was able to make some more audibles, had more freedom at the line of scrimmage, if things would have changed a little bit in that game. And, that's been the narrative with this Ravens team is, when it comes to these big games in the playoffs, they're not the same offense that they've been in the regular season.
Fair, fair, fair. Any Russell Wilson rumblings that you've heard? Because I know people are wondering if he's going to go out there to where you are with Vegas or what that's going to look like. Anything?
Yeah. Haven't heard anything yet. It's pretty tight-lipped. As far as, obviously, Denver has to make their decision first, and what they're going to do before anything else can happen. But we have seen, we saw Alex Smith get traded during Super Bowl week. We saw Jared Goff get traded during Super Bowl week. So you never know. There's always a possibility something can happen here within the next couple of days. Um, it's always all these GMs are talking, all these people are together, so there's always a chance.
I just don't know why any team would be like, we should trade him, knowing that he's probably going to get cut come March. I
Yeah.
just don't know as a GM why you would be like, sure, let's give up something, even though we might be able to get him. But again, if he gets cut, then Russell kind of has his say in wherever he wants to go. So unless somebody really wants him, do you still think, Matt, you and I have had lots of conversations about this. Where do
Yeah.
you stand on Russell Wilson and his play? Was it just not the right fit, or is it just that Pete Carroll was able to design an offense that made Russ look so good in Seattle, and really he's not that elite quarterback that we all once thought? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think fit was part of it. I think, when you look at some of the mistakes that would happen in crucial moments of this games, it seems like there was a little bit of disarray with that offense. You look at, for example, when you look at on tape at that key interception, really the moment that turned the season was the loss to the Texans. And if you look at that play, that interception, it looks like maybe he was supposed to send some guys in motion. The ball is snapped, the ball's in his hands, and all the receivers are standing at the line of scrimmage with their hands up, like, what's going on? I don't think he called the play. If that, just again, I don't know what's going on, but when you look at it on tape, that's a dead giveaway that play wasn't run the way it was supposed to be. And when things like that happen in those crucial moments, obviously it's devastating for a team. So I saw things like that going on. But yeah, I think whatever, with what they had in Seattle with Pete Carroll, with Dave Canales, and even before that, obviously, I think they had, they managed Russell the right way. They had the right system for him. But I do think there was a disconnect, and I don't necessarily look at it as Sean Payton's fault. I think there was a disconnect because obviously we've seen it now with multiple coaches in Denver. I think there's something going on with Russell where there's a little bit of a disconnect. And yeah, in the way this offense is being run. So I think if I had to guess and read between the lines here, I think that's why, the team's ready to move on.
Oh, trust me, you and I feel the exact same way. On some other coaching news, though, how about Bill Belichick? It's rumored right now that he turned down the job in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering, because it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't get a job somewhere because he's the greatest coach of all time. The rumors about, maybe the Falcons front office didn't feel confident, it didn't feel comfortable bringing him in because you'd want too much power. That made sense to me. But, again, I think it's going to be very important for him wherever he does end up going. Obviously at this point, it's going to be next year, to be on the same page with the front office. Obviously, it's important for any head coach to be on the same page with this front office, but especially for him, because he is somebody who's going to want some say in personnel decisions. So if the Falcons weren't willing to kind of give on that and restructure the way they do things from a front office perspective, yeah, it's not going to be a match. So I totally buy that that's what happened.
Yeah, it just caught me so off guard this morning when I saw that, because of course we were all like, well, wait, I thought he was for sure going to the Falcons, and then he's not. Yeah. And so it's been an interesting couple of weeks with all of the coaching hires and kind of how things have, happened. Even in Seattle, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is crazy that this is all starting to just come out and happen.
Yeah, it really was. It's been a really interesting coaching cycle. A lot of surprises, a lot of twists and turns, and yeah, I mean, got some really good coaches who are sitting out there without jobs between Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. So
you never know what can happen in the NFL.
And I don't think Bill Belichick is done. We're going to see him coach. We're going to see him coaching again. I can't believe he's just going to walk away, even though he didn't get a job this hiring cycle. But we'll see.
Hey, maybe he'll like retirement and be like, you know what? I don't want to go handle a 53 guys and a bunch of coaches. I'm going to go hang by the beach and do whatever, or go Nick Saban route and, end up on ESPN College Game Day or Game Day or Countdown, whatever the heck. Same thing. You get what I'm going at. Maybe he'll just be like, I'm done. I'm done doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always a possibility, especially when because it is such a hamster wheel year after year after year. And when you get out of that grind, some guys realize, you know what? I don't know that I want to go back to that. I think I'm ready. So it could happen for sure.
I don't blame him. You're going to the NFL honors tonight. What will you be doing out there, and are you excited about it?
I'm just going to finally, I don't have any responsibilities. I get to enjoy it. So I'm very excited. Fun? Yes, I know. It's amazing. That actually gets to happen every now and then. So very excited about it. Last year was my first time going, and yeah, just all the stars that are there, walking in and seeing like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and players like that. It's just awesome to see all that talent concentrated in one place. So definitely excited to be there, excited to check it out.
Wait, I'm so jealous that you're going to have fun. First of all, everybody, before the show even started, Matt and I were talking, and I was like, how many hours of sleep are you getting? It was like 4-ish kind of. And I was like, okay. He's like, I'm up at 3 a.m. every day getting ready for the show. So I'm glad that it's going to be practically almost kind of sort of like your weekend tonight.
A little bit. We have a special guest here too, by the way. Hold on. I'm going to have to, let me take this out so Kay can hear you. Hold on. Sorry.
You were doing so well.
I was doing all right.
Hey, Rach.
some reason. No.
He's back. Hi, Rachel, and thank you for, of course, giving our show some love on your show today. We need to have you on sometime. This is the best human that exists, and anything I've ever done in my career is nothing without this one. So enjoy your time with him. We gotta go to NFL Honors soon.
Yes, we do. I completely lost my audio with you, Rachel. I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Going to walk away with a win. So we will see you guys all later. Have a wonderful one. Bye, everybody.